isn't here with us, Harris. Would you like to leave a message? I'll be sure that she gets it.
Yes, Mom, will you get out of there, please? You're no fun! I'm working!
See you later, Mrs. Harris.
Are you kidding me? You have to be kidding me. You're doing my show up.
All right, rise and shine. It is Merleworld card time. Thank you for all the watchers out there. I think I have 4 right now. It's a world record. I love it, baby. It doesn't matter. I'm going to treat you like I have 1,000 people watching me. So I have a great show. This is my first Thursday, Merleworld After Dark. It's a special one. I have one of my buddies from Southern California that I see at his shows. You watch him on YouTube as well, Rollin with FD. You can also check him out on Instagram, Rollin with FD, and also check out Merleworld Cards on Instagram. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you my, like Morgan always says, my brother from another mother. Here is FD. What's up, FD? Good evening, sir. How you doing?
What's up, everybody that's out there? How y'all doing? How you doing, Merle?
It's a pleasure, man. It is. Thank you so much for wanting to be on my show and one of my first, guests. So it's always a pleasure seeing you either in person or on the internet. How you doing this week?
I feel the same way, man. It's always a pleasure seeing you, talking to you. We have good conversations. It's great. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm very excited to be here.
All right, we're gonna have a lot of fun, but I know there's we're gonna just wrap this up and not really delve into the negativity and stuff. There has been a lot of drama. When I was in Dallas, there was some drama. There's some drama, with YouTube stars and just people tossing out negativity to other YouTubers and stuff. So you always have a great silver lining and philosophy about things. What is the Tao of FD? What do you have to say about all this stuff?
I believe that there are things that happen in our society overall. And part of that is going to come into the hobby. And I think as collectors, right, and investors, flippers, whatever we want to call ourselves, it's all about how we react to things. Mm-hmm. And that is the biggest thing, but the unity, the bond, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it really should be. We all respect each other. We are people. So there may be people that do not care for each other at times, but it doesn't really matter. We all respect each other. Take time with each other, talk to each other, share different ideas about cars and what you're collecting. If you're collecting Marvel, I want to hear from you. If you're collecting comic books, I want to talk to you. If you're collecting figurines, let's talk as well. I got a friend I was just talking to the other day that collects figurines and the G.I. Joes from the 60s. Let's talk about it. And that's really what I think it should all be about. I'm not the only person. I don't have the only opinion, but I'm all about embracing people, talking to people from different backgrounds, wherever you're from. I want to talk to you about what your collection is and kind of what your philosophy overall on cars. And then how does that spin out, right? Because I talked to some young collectors who may be like 12, 13, 14 years old, and they're learning the finance side of the hobby and things of that matter. So there's something for everybody to take away from this. It is just so good. So that's why I like when G and I come out, we walk the whole show. We go table to table. We want to talk to everybody, see what everybody's thinking. What do you collect? And you will find out, table to table, everybody's doing a little bit something different. Recently, we were out. We saw some boxing cards of Sugar Ray Robinson.
Oh, wow.
Other famous athletes. Those are the things to me that get me excited because of the history involved. So just to answer your question, more unity in the hobby is always good, but we're all people. So if we can step back, look at each other, recognize our differences, and just still have conversations, that's a great day.
I love it, man. So, and then, there's been some news also about eBay. Do you know more to the story about that? I deal on eBay and I'm kind of confused. Is this just like raw cards or what?
Well, from what I understand, what I read is about raw cards. So if you bought a card on eBay and it's raw, you'll have also what I understand an option to send your card in to CSG to get it graded and then get that card sent back to you graded. I'm sure they'll have some timelines if they haven't expressed them already on how long that'll take. The question that first came to me is when I heard about this is, if I buy a raw card, do I want CSG to grade it?
Right.
That was the biggest thing that jumped out to me. So we'll see as this continue to grow and develop if the marketplace wants that, because everybody talks about PSA, people talk about Becky grading services, people talk about SGC, but are people talking about this grader to grade their basketball, football, baseball cards? I know they're a big grader of Pokemon. When I'm out, I see a lot of Pokemon cards graded by CSG. But it'll be interesting to see. I think we're going to see more services. This is a service. So we're going to see more services offered, I think, in the future from a lot of different places to streamline the process. Right now, I buy wax, right? If I'm a collector. Every card starts raw, right? So I'm going to get some wax. I'm going to open that wax. I'm going to pull a card out. I'm going to get a penny sleeve and a top loader probably from another company. Then I'm going to take that card and send it in to somebody to get it graded, or I'm going to keep it at home or wherever I have it ungraded. So those are a lot of steps. And then I'm going to send it to someone to possibly vault the card. That's another step. I know we've heard fanatics talk about streamlining that process so that you can get all services done in one. Now, that could be 5, 6, 7 years away from now. But it's interesting to see eBay make this move right now.
Now, when did they say they're going to start doing this?
That I did not read. I didn't read. I think I also saw another source that said it was starting immediately.
Oh,
but
really?
I haven't been on eBay to see if I'm buying a raw card. And I may just go through this process just to understand what I see on their app. If I buy a card, then what am I prompted to do after that? It'd be interesting to see.
Oh, let's say hello to everybody on here real quick. See OG Scammer. Yo, OG Scammer's in the place to be. Congratulations, Merleworld After Dark. Well, FD, congratulations. Thank you, OG. Shiny Cardboard Addict. Let's get this party started. Yeah. Love it. What's up, Axel C? Let's go. Don't mess with the hobby. Merlin, congratulations. It's great to be here with Rollin FD. I love it too, man.
With you, don't mess. Thank you.
Let's see here. What else we got here? We got Feed the Gods. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Good evening.
So what else we got here? Rob, 19th Vintage. Hola, man.
What's up, Rob?
What's up, Rob? Yep. Feed the Gods. We should all unify as a community for individuality and uniqueness, but we all should want our community to grow for the better. Love your comment, FD. Much said.
Speak on that, Pete. Speak on that. Yes.
Let's see. Don't mess with the hobby. It's crazy. Hurting people hurt other people. Keep smiling. Keep shining. Enjoy every day. We're all alive. Don't wait until it's gone to say goodbye. Send aloha. Definitely. Yeah.
You know what's cool? I know we're introducing people. What's cool? It sparks something. Every time I go out, I learn something from somebody in a conversation about.
Oh, you do?
Without question. Every time I go out. That's some nuance somewhere. That's some new grading company. That's something about a card that I had never seen before. It's always like that.
And you pick that up in the chats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, love it. Axel C, love your intro, Merlin. Well, thank you.
Oh, it was a tight intro. I love that intro.
I tried to make it a little, quirky and weird and stuff, for my personality.
Yep.
Okay, we got enough here. So, FD, when did you start collecting?
So I started collecting stamps and coins when I was probably 5.5, 6 years old.
Okay.
I was reading something. I was a little bit of an early reader, but I started reading some things about the collectability of stamps and coins, and I started diving into that. But when I was a child, I didn't realize that some of the things that I was looking at already had a high price tag to it, right? So at 8 years old, when I saw the Topps Don Manley card, that's when I started getting into baseball cards. And then the Donruss card. And then every year almost after that, you had Barry Bonds coming in. You had Ken Griffey Jr. coming. You had these athletes. You had Mark McGwire coming. You had Jose Canseco. I just got really excited about baseball. And then Jerry Rice was a rookie in football in 1987. So I was really excited about that. I started buying Jerry Rice rookie cards, and this thing just started domino, just started going. And so from 8 to 13, I collected cards. At 13, I started getting into autographs. I'm flipping through a magazine, and
Really?
I see that there's some autographed baseballs and bats for a particular price. I go to my father, and I ask him about, hey, can we order this? And he said, well, I've been flipping through the paper, Chicago Sun-Times in Chicago, and I see that there's shows all the time, not that far away from where we live. So then we started going to shows together. And he was the first person to take me to a show. I've told the story before, walk me around and kind of start talking to me about the community. I would go into a show, tunnel vision, just there to talk to that particular athlete if I wanted to autograph or look for a particular card. And that's it. And he would challenge me and say, you got to start talking to people. I never understood why. Like, what do I need to talk to people for, and about what? So I was telling my girlfriend the other day that one time I came in the living room and I asked my father about going to a show to get, I think, Willie Stargell's autograph.
Oh, wow.
And he told me,
of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I was like 15 years old, and he told me, I'll only take you to the show if you talk to people at the show. And I have to see you talking to people.
Really?
Oh, yeah. My father was like that.
Okay.
I have to see you engaging in conversation. Ask them about what are they getting autographed and why. What's the story behind that? He would challenge me on that. And so then I started doing it more and more and more. And it began to just build upon itself. And as I developed as a collector, I would go to more and more shows. I started going to TriStar stuff when it came to Chicago. And I would never leave that show without talking to people. And it just grew and grew and grew.
And that's how you got the personality you have today.
I think he saw something. I think he saw something in me. You know, our elders see things in us that we're not able to see because we don't have that lens yet. So, I've had counselors in college tell me certain things about myself and jobs I should take, or things they see that I'm good at that at the time I did not see. But then later in life, you start picking up on it. So I think he saw something in me about being a part of the community and talking to people that he wanted me to mature on, and he challenged me on it. And both of my parents were those people. They would challenge my brother and I to become better people and talk to people and engage in conversations. And then I have a pretty decent memory. So if you tell me something about yourself, your family, something about you, I'm going to remember that. And it's not because I'm not trying to remember it to gain something. It just helps me later in the conversation when I see you again to talk about what's happening with your kids. Let me see the pictures, whatever it may be. And then later in life, I worked in sales, and those attributes helped me a lot then too. Just talking to people.
Well, I love it. I have a question here from Don't Mess With the Hobby here. He says, Merlin, do you mind if I direct a question towards FD? FD as a father and leader of the family and in today's state of the hobby.
Okay. They're asking me, how do I feel about that, or what's the question?
I don't know either. What do you mean? What do you want to ask FD? So
hey, don't mess. Let me know. I'll
okay.
Answer.
See here.
Or maybe it's something got cut off.
Axel C. That's one of the best things about the hobby, the communication aspect. It really encourages kids to develop certain skills they wouldn't otherwise. Correct. Yes. Oh, that's the one I'm missing here. Oh, and Gloria, I got to ask him a question here. And Gloria's P, what are y'all streaming on? I'm streaming on Melon. And I know most people do StreamYard. What do you use, FD, when you're streaming?
I use StreamYard, but this is very simple.
It's the same thing. Yeah. It's very user-friendly. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, here we go. Hobby kids seeing and hearing all this negativity in a safe space, hearing bad things said, and seeing on the YouTube or at a show of the confrontations growing and in retail people fighting. How are you? Okay, I guess he's still typing. Let's find out here. So remember all that, FD?
Oh, I got it. I got that part.
Okay, okay, and then hobby kids singing here. Okay, that's the same thing. Okay, so I'm not getting all of this.
It'll come.
Okay,
don't mess. You bring it. Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, so FD, when did you start going back into the modern day hobby that it is today? When did you get back into this?
I've collected cards like Luka Doncic's rookie year. I
Oh my
bought a
God,
few
just like me too.
cards.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm never out. The only times I've left the hobby was something dealing with education or something dealing with a job, or if there was a huge transition in my life, then I may have stepped away for a little bit. But I've always been, even at those times, I would still stay up with what was going on in the hobby and do research and read about things and talk to people, so that whenever I was getting back in fully, that I knew exactly what was going on around me. I've really never left. I can think about, like, I think I talked about like some movie posters and stuff that I got
You
into.
collect movie posters as well.
Yeah, I picked up a few over time. We'll talk about that on Rolling with FD coming up.
Love it.
There are a few, but I've always been in cards, thinking about cards. I've done a lot in autographs. When I first moved to California, I went to a lot of autograph shows, and I got stuff signed in a unique way. I will focus on the athlete, things about their life or about their career, and then when I got to the table, it became a conversation. I've never really went since at least until I was like 17.
Right.
I don't go to an autograph show and just get an autograph and walk away. No, when
What-
I get to the table, I talk directly to the athlete. I don't talk to the person sitting next to him. I talk directly to the athlete. And then we're talking about people like Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Jim Brown,
Oh
Willie
my goodness.
Stargell,
Wow.
just a whole bunch of people over time since I was a kid. I talk to them, I have conversations with them. I educate myself about their career, what accomplishments they've done, or things they've done outside of the field. And then we have a conversation about that. I want to be a person when I get in their line and I come to get their autograph, I leave them with something. I want them to know that person right there put some research in on what I've done or haven't done, or some ideas I had about something, or what I said in an article or interview somewhere. I talk about those things. So it's like, it becomes like a different experience, I think, up there.
Love it. Let's see if he's got. Oh, he's still typing. Looks like.
Oh, it's all good.
He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got a paragraph. He's got an entire story going. Don't mess with the hobby. So he looks like he's still typing in. They must only give him like 10 lines or something in here
Don't
because
mess is the real deal.
it is okay. So what made you then decide, like, man, you know what? I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna go shoot content. G, come with me. And you know who is the man behind the camera? Who is G? Tell me some more, man.
G is my son.
Okay.
He already had an avid interest in video recording and editing since he was really young. I've told a story before that G used to make stop motion Lego movies. Now he would take Lego. Yeah, when he was young. Yeah, when he was 7, 8, 9 years old, he would take Legos and move them just a little bit, and record, and then turn that into an 8-minute movie. So he's always been interested in recording and doing stuff from an editing perspective. I guess I started thinking about, I saw stuff on YouTube with people going out and recording content. And I just started thinking about, I want to share my story. I want to let people know about how I collect, what I do, what I don't do, how I conduct conversations, more about my background. And it's represent a different side of things. So those are the things that we started talking about as a household. And then from there, it spiraled into, we need to go out. And the first day we went out, there were 3 shows in LA. And
when was this?
When we left the house.
When was this, FD?
Back in, I think, May.
It was, okay. So when I saw you at Cardstock Trading Show, the first one over in Encino at the outdoor one, how much content have you been shooting at that point?
Like third, fourth, or fifth show. It wasn't that we hadn't been out too long.
Oh, wow.
But when we went out, I wanted to make sure that, like, I don't embellish stuff, right? I don't know what anybody else. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm just letting you know about me, right? I don't embellish anything. So we talked about here that when we went out, I wanted him to capture and record exactly what I do. How do I talk to people? What conversations am I having? And then how do I drill into what am I looking for here? If I walk up to your table, Merle, I'm looking at your table. As I'm engaging with you and talking to you, I'm thinking about the research that I put in. And this is what I want people to know, right? When I go to a show, it's about the research that I priorly put in on cars. What are some cars that are dipping? What are some cars where prices are going up? who are some key athletes that are involved. I keep all that in my head.
Okay.
And we've even talked about it here sometimes. I'm starting to break down now in shows more of the prior research that I've done or the thought process that I'm going through why I'm at the show right there. So when I go through and I start asking about prices, what's the price of that? Merle, what's the price of that? What's the
Yes,
price
you
of
did.
that? It's not because I'm asking you just what your price is. It's how does it balance with the research that I probably put in. So if you say a card is $100, have I seen that card for 75 somewhere before? Or have I seen it for 150? So that then gauges me to go more into the conversation to find out more about that card or about you as a vendor or part of the community.
I love it, man. So let's see if I can get Don't Mess with a Hobby. Maybe he's finished the entire question. It's a long one. So let's just start from the beginning again.
Okay.
He goes, hobby kids seeing and hearing all this negativity in a safe space, hearing bad things said, and seeing on YouTube at show with confrontations growing and retail people fighting. How are you? Okay, goodness. Sorry, I'm trying to figure all this out. Okay. How are you? There it is. Second one. Coaching your kids and keeping eyes on the prize. My kids are aware of the Hawaiian and mainland family. They are hearing this negativity in our hobby, and I'm super overwhelmed with feeling and emotions.
Okay.
Let's see here. Okay. Still trying there. Okay. Because we got a little skipping here. FD, I'm full-time husband and father. Kids are young. They love the hobby. We reward our kids with cards. They learn to read and geography and blessed to travel and games. It's crazy and aggressive. And then he says behavior in the hobby that doesn't align with our family values. And honestly, my wife and kids and I had 3 weekends, 3 card shows. It's been a great new year, 2022, and the budget for cards is great. New prices afford more cards. Keep buying. Okay. How are you coaching your kids navigating the turbulent weather on the current market, hobby, and life?
Okay. Is
There
that
you
the
go.
end? That's it?
That's it.
So for Don't Mess, I guess Merle, everybody that's out there watching, this is no different to me than anything that is going on in the world of life, right? We have conversations here on a regular basis with everyone to just talk through things that one of my sons will sit sometimes and watch the news, and then he'll turn to us and he'll ask questions like, "What does that mean? What does this mean? Why did that person say that? What happened to that individual in that car crash?" He'll ask us questions like that, and then we engage in conversation and let him know what we're thinking and kind of help him talk through those things. That's the recommendation that I would give everyone. That's kind of that's really how I grew up. We would ask our parents different questions, and then we would talk through as a family. They would give us their ideas on different things, and then we would have time to express ourselves in that conversation, and that's really what we do here. That would be my advice on anything in life. Just to we talk about conversation in a hobby, have conversations at home, talk through things with people, and our young people have ideas. They're seeing stuff, and they formulate something in their mind. They want to express it. My son is young. He'll still talk to me about stuff. G and I in the car a lot, even when we're at home. We'll talk about stuff. He'll come home and tell us a story about something that happened at school. We're going to talk through that. It's very important. So, it could be dinner time. It could be an informal, like dinner time. It could be when you're going through the hobby, you're talking about stuff. It could be when they share ideas with you. Just have that conversation and talk to them about it. And then what we also do is check in to see how do you feel about that. After we've had this conversation, now give me your thoughts and let me know what you think. And then that's full circle. And then at that point, we can move on to something else that we're doing or another idea that they may have that they want to talk through.
I love it. The psychology of FD. I love it, man.
Oh, it comes from, I tell people all the time, my parents, my grandparents, when I was a young child, I used to go to Mississippi a lot and spend the summers. And I remember people that were, I'm 5, 6, 7 years old. There were people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s just dropping knowledge, just telling me about my brother and I about stuff all the time, kind of educating us on maybe some steps we could take in the future in our lives. And I pull back on that a lot in many different situations. Rolling with FD is one of them. This, I think, I always want to reiterate to people, what we do is a culmination of a lot of things that has happened over time and a lot of teaching. And it could be stuff in school. It could be stuff that I experienced in sports. There are a lot of things that come together in the channel.
You have to excuse me. There's so many sirens going on. I live in the city, so it's a little crazy.
Oh, it's fine. Whenever I drive to LA, you're going to see an ambulance, a helicopter, something going on.
Every 5 minutes, man. There's a lot of fireworks too. They're starting springtime until 4th of July. It's crazy. Here's another guy. See a question. To the Moon Collectibles. What's your opinion on what makes a good YouTube channel? What are some key aspects to someone in the chat tonight just getting started? So what do you have to say about that? What's your suggestion?
I would say be willing to put in research, understand where you want to invest and why. Like, put a lot of time into that. I would give a recommendation to not just sit down for 20 minutes and then get up and say, I want to make this decision. Put a lot of research in. And we try to stress that in the channel that there are some decisions that we make that we put a lot of time into. Even if you see me walk up to a table and buy a $5 card, there's a reason why. There is a reason why. So it have your own lens. I talked about this, I think, a couple of days ago somewhere. Have your own lens. Look at stuff for yourself and know why you want to do it. Not why that person over there told me I should, but know exactly what you want to do and why. And then you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
So, FD, do you collect Marvel cards?
I want to get into Marvel cards. That's something I want to get more into this year. And I'm still trying to figure out. I've been asking people a lot of questions. I'll ask you this too, Merle.
Okay.
I seem like there's mutually exclusive communities. If I'm a comic book reader and collector, and if I'm a Marvel card collector, because I've talked to some people who collect comic books, and then when I bring up, well, do you collect PMGs or anything like that? They're like, no, I don't collect that. I get into the storyline. Yeah, I want to read something and get into the storyline and get into the character. I don't get that on a card. And then you have a segment that I've learned that do both. So that's kind of what I want to learn more about. Like, how does that work? Because my brother and I grew up. We bought many comic books over time.
Well, the shiny cardboard addict, he wants to know, FD, what is your favorite Marvel characters?
I loved X-Men growing up. I loved X-Men, Avengers growing up. Those and Amazing Spider-Man and the Spectacular Spider-Man at the time. I love those. That's what we read the most of. And then my brother loved Shang-Chi, right? So we would buy a lot of Shang-Chi comic books and read them. And I was actually showing G the other day some Shang-Chi comic books and how his appearance in the comic book is different than his appearance in the movie.
Oh, it is.
And then we talked. I think it had to be. And then we talked through that, So those were some of my favorite characters growing up. But I mean, you got spinoffs from the X-Men, the New Mutants, and things like that happened. There's a lot of other stuff that I thought about as a young collector in comic books. But that was the core. And then the evolution of the Hulk. Hulk went from a being that could not really speak to one that was breaking down scientific notations, dressed in a suit and tie, but still could become the Hulk whenever he wanted to. So, I love that. Love that stuff.
I love it. Let's see what we got here. Axel C. Hey guys, I had the vision of a ticket market rise about a year ago, and it's finally happening. Now I'm struggling to decide what to sell. I'm scared I may never see some tickets again. What tickets is he talking about, FD? Do you know?
I don't know if he's talking about sporting tickets, like a game, or is he talking about a concert ticket?
Yeah, Axel C. Are you talking about the soccer tickets, like you were telling us on our show with Dan Between Two Slabs, or what? Let's see here. Don't mess with the hobby. FD, we are having an all-star week in Seattle next year, 2023. Go Mariners. Merlin, send your invite. FD, send your family invite, 2023. Seattle, Washington, Summer Classic. I would love to.
Love to go to that.
Have you been to Seattle, FD?
never been to Seattle. I would.
I just
love
went for
to
my
go.
first time in September. My girlfriend
I
and
know you
I,
told me.
one of my really close friends, moved up there a few years ago. He and his wife, and they have a great house that overlooks the bay in West Seattle. And I went there for a week, and I did all the touristy stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And then I went to all the sites where they shot the movie Singles. I don't know if you ever saw
Seattle.
Singles. It's a Cameron Crowe movie from the early '90s, about grunge music, and it was like the predecessor to Friends. It's what inspired the show Friends.
Okay, all right.
And then
I've
I made
always heard
everybody to
fish
watch the movie
is
afterwards. But it's a
But you go
beautiful
down to the
place.
market. You go down to the market where they throw fish.
Oh, we did. It was awesome. Loved it. Loved the whole place was beautiful. I didn't know there was so much water and hills and everything. It was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So FD, let's see what else we have here. Don't Mess with a Hobby picked up an entire Marvel card collection, almost 180 in soft sleeves, top loaders, and ready to go. Portland or this weekend card show. Love it.
Now,
man.
Don't Mess. Were you able to go through those cards?
Yeah, what were they?
Yeah, what were they? That's what I'm interested in. And if
That's
you
good.
haven't, please let us know later. I'd love to see what you got there.
So FD, what do you collect? I mean, what are you collecting right now? Like, what is on your mind?
A football, basketball, baseball. There are also some things I want to get into from like a boxing perspective.
Oh, really? You want to get in the box? Have you bought any boxing cards?
Yeah. No, I have not. I would
Okay.
love to own and do more research on like Jack Johnson.
Oh, wow.
And get some of his cards. I saw a marvelous Marvin Hagler card recently that I thought was really cool. We also want to get more into comics, like we talked about earlier. I want to dig more into. We talked about like Marvel cards. I want to know more about that. I want to know more about DC cards, and then should talk more about autographs in general.
Oh, wow. So, are you going to go to the card stock trading show this weekend?
Yes,
You'll
we'll
be
be there Saturday. Yeah, we'll be there Saturday and Sunday.
So then, what is your eye on the prize for the weekend? Like, what are you going to be looking for? Can you tell us?
You know, when I walk into a show, and I'm not making this up. When I go into a show, I have no idea about what I want to buy that day. I do so much research prior that I like to react to what I see. What's on the table? What is the vendor talking about? What is the price of the card? And then how does what do I think that card is going in the future? Is what I try to focus on. None of us can get it right. You know, you never know what's going to go on, what cards are, how they're going to react in the market. But I always try to have a game plan. And then when I went to the last show, like when I went to Newport, someone asked me as soon as I came in, like, what are you looking for? And I said the same thing. I don't have any game plan today. I'm not coming into the show saying, I want this Luka Doncic card, and I want to see if someone has it. I don't really buy like that. I think that's what, like, I hear some people say, like, I went to the National looking for this. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
But I see so much stuff. Like, you go to the National, a big show like
that.
Yeah,
it's too overwhelming.
You see so much stuff that having a game plan helps you, but you may see something that's not in your top 5. That's not in your top 5 game plan for that show. That's amazing that you may have come across before in your research. You're like, wow, I can't believe I see this right now. So then where does the conversation go? So that's what I try to focus on. Just being ready overall, looking at football, basketball, baseball. I get excited about Carrie Fisher and Star Wars.
Princess Leia?
Yeah, I was looking at some of her cards the other day. I was looking at Harrison Ford's cards the other day. I like to do a lot of prior research. And so sometimes the TV is on. I may be watching a little bit of something, but I'm doing a lot of research on other stuff.
Now, how about like some sports players or anything like you think that are hot right now? What, basketball or football? Who's hot?
I mean, John Morant is doing amazing things. I like to see, can he keep that up? You know, these are the things I think about with players early in their career. Let me say, can they keep up that level of play? He's going to go into the All-Star break. He's going to be a starter. He should be a starter. I think that was announced today. He should be a starter. Yeah, he should be a starter. Wiggins is going. He's starting as well.
Wiggins, wow.
Oh yeah. Wiggins has been balling.
He's having a
career
season.
Proud of him. Yeah, so happy. I'm happy that he changed teams and we're able to see what ability he really has.
He needed it.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't
those
looking too hopeful last year, but he was without Curry.
No. But people don't realize what Curry does to the game. He opens up a lot. If you watch Golden State, there are 2 to 3 people following Curry around.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're Wiggins on the other end and now you have Clay out there, they're looking at wide open shots. So they're going to move around the court and make a pass to someone like Lee that's going to open up more of the floor for them. But, Curry is a player. I think Kevin Durant, I know he's hurt right now. I don't know how that's affecting his cards. Or maybe a
you think when he'll be back?
6 to 8 weeks was the.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he'll probably be reevaluated after 3 or 4. And then they'll make a decision when he comes back. I don't think any surgery was needed. This is just rest. I think he strained the knee ligament. One of his own players bumped into his leg. But he'll be back.
And
I predict that when Durant is done, he's going to be a top 5, top 7 player all time.
I'm sure. Do you think?
So
do you think Harden will be back when Durant comes back? Do you think Harden will still be on the team?
I don't know. I hope so. I would hope so.
I hope
Harden
so too.
made a statement the other day that he's tired of losing.
Right.
I like to hear that from him. Yeah, he's made. It looks like he's done some things in the past that he might be okay with losing. So it's good to hear him verbally say, "I want to go another direction in my career." And you can be MVP, you could be a scoring champ, but at some point you want to win something. And I watched the interview with Draymond Green. And he was interviewing Tracy McGrady. And Tracy McGrady talked about that. He said, "Hey, I didn't win a championship, but I was one of the players that changed the game. I changed the way a small forward was playing, what the expectation was." And he did do that. Then he said, "I'm a Hall of Famer."
Mm-hmm.
But, I love Tracy McGrady. I love the way he played. I love the way
he was never on a championship team.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now, who is your favorite NBA team?
I'm a Chicago Bull fan.
I imagine. I bet you were going crazier in the Jordan years.
Oh, I love it.
Me too.
Many of us took that for granted. Many of us took that for granted. Well, you knew Mike when he went out, and then when Scotty became more mature, and Horace Grant became more mature in the first 3, that you just started taking that for granted. You knew they were going to win.
Right.
In 1991, when they played the Lakers, I knew they were going to win. I didn't worry about that. The day they clinched the title, I was at Six Flags outside of Chicago. None of us were my friends. We weren't even worried about how that was going to end up. And we knew they were going to probably win in 92. 93 was the question, And then when Jordan came back, as soon as they signed Dennis Rodman, myself and a couple of us, we got on the telephone. We knew we were back on the run. You can't have Scotty. You get the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and one of the greatest rebounders to ever play the game on the same court. You're gonna run it out. But as soon as Mike Jordan retired, then went to the Wizards, we got to taste reality.
No. So, who is your favorite current team then?
I'm home team all the time. But I do look at the Golden State Warriors. I think they have something special. I think they have to fine-tune what they have. The season is helping them do that. They have to answer the question. I guess I critique every team, right? Golden State has to answer the question of what do they do when they play a team with a big man. They don't have an answer for that yet. But they have to get that answer before they get to the playoffs. Is James Wiseman the answer? Are there some other young players off the bench that may be the answer? I don't know. But they have to get that answer. Or if they play against a guy like Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. He's been tearing it up these last few weeks, man. He's been tearing it up.
Looking like he could be MVP of the league.
It's a tight race right now. I mean, who do you think it is? It's Stephen Curry, of course. Joel Embiid. Is Nikola Jokic again? Giannis?
Some people have talked about Giannis and Ja Morant. We'll see after the All-Star break who really wants that award. How does that get solidified? But Joel Embiid right now is playing very well.
Yeah, he's tearing it up, man. Who do you think is going to be in the championships this year?
I'm thinking Golden State still.
Against who?
Okay. I'm thinking Philadelphia.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big pick.
I don't think Brooklyn is not.
They can't stay healthy and play together.
I think Brooklyn only go as far as Kevin Durant takes them.
Oh wow.
You know, you still got Kyrie playing only away games. You know, so
That's
the
crazy.
chemistry, how does that work? How does that work in the playoffs? You know, we've never seen that. It's never been a team that's operated that way. Milwaukee could be good, but I still think getting rid of players like PJ Tucker in the playoffs, those kind of like dog players that do anything, go for the rebound, it's going to end up hurting them in the long run. I didn't understand why they signed Cousins and then let Cousins go.
Yeah, wow.
Cousins,
What's up with that?
you know, he's a great player right now. So I think he was averaging 16, 17 points a game.
Whew.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, don't mess with the hobby. Bo Jackson Auto. It was personally signed. Great story and great cause to support the proceeds benefits specific medical family in need. I should have paid double. Oh wow.
Bo Jackson. That's a great athlete to meet in person.
FD Merlin, did y'all stash Tops Update Chrome MLB? It's going to be a very exciting product. Looking for Mariners. Well, I don't collect anything about baseball. I don't know anything about baseball. How about you, FD?
I collect certain baseball players. It has to be a certain player. I'll collect their autograph. I'll collect their card. But that hasn't been my focus as of late. It's been more probably basketball and football. But there are some wins in baseball. And I love talking to like Carlos, right? Carlos collects baseball, I think, exclusively. And there are a lot of wins in baseball. So please don't listen to me and say, well, he's not collecting baseball. No, there are some wins in baseball. Big wins.
Now let's segue to the next sport because it's pretty topical this weekend. We got 2 championship games. Who do you think is going to win this weekend, and who do you want to win?
Well, first up, we have Kansas City, and who's Kansas City playing?
They're playing the Bengals.
I'm not a Kansas City fan.
Oh, you're not.
I'm not a fan. I'm going to say this. Being from Chicago, right? I'm not really a fan of any Missouri team, any New York team, or any Boston team.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of history there, right? A lot of history. You're talking about Cubs and St. Louis Cardinals. You're talking about Bulls playing the Knicks. I mean, it's a lot of stuff you could talk about. But
so you're going to be pulling for the Bengals on the AFC side. But who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win?
I think the Bengals have a great shot.
Oh,
Remember
wow.
where you heard it first. I think the Bengals have a great shot to win that game. Because the weakness of the Kansas City Chiefs, this is the only way I think the Bengals can win, is running the football. That's the weakness of the Chiefs. You got to control the clock, keep Mahomes on the sideline, and run the football. If you can't do that, they will find a way to beat you. Too many offensive weapons and a good quarterback that's establishing his career to be on to long-term greatness. So, it's going to be a great game. Either one of those teams are not going to give up and just let the other team win. Now, in the NFC, we got the Rams
and who the 49ers. 49ers here in LA.
I'm rooting for the 49ers. And again,
you are. Wow.
The 49ers have to run the ball to win that game.
Their defense is looking good too.
Oh, yeah. And, I love Deebo Samuel.
Oh, yeah, you do. So you talked about on one of my shows already.
The way he plays the game is like throwback. It's like an 80s or a 90s player. And let me just say this. Who's leading the league in receiving? And then your coach says, hey, we need help at running back. And you go do that too.
Really?
Yeah. I just love that.
Oh, wow. So that
would be the matchup. I would love to see the 49ers play the Bengals. And that would be
my goodness.
That would be a throwback to an old Super Bowl.
What was like 89, 88?
Yeah, just rolled all over Ickey Woods in the ball.
Oh, that was a very lopsided game.
From the tip, from the kickoff.
Yes. That was my first year in college. So, FD, did you bring any cards to show? I want to see what's it. Okay, can you show us a few?
I'm going to kick this off with Ken Golden.
Okay. Ken Golden. Why Ken Golden?
Ken Golden card.
Oh, look at there. It's a Ken Golden autograph card.
Ken Golden auto. We got this at the National.
You did?
We had a chance to meet we had a chance to meet Ken Golden, say hello, and he signed this card.
Okay, you got to tell me how you got that card signed. And like, did you just walked up or what?
We just walked up. He was signed at the booth. We just walked up.
I mean, I could have just walked up and said, "Hey, Ken," and he's like, "Oh, you want a card?"
Well, it was a thing. It was a tricky thing, right? He had security there, and so it wasn't like they were just giving cards out to everybody that walked by. I kind of just like stood by for about 2 minutes, and then this really just walked up and asked for a card.
That's awesome.
True story.
I love
True
it.
story.
Okay, what else you got,
That was
man?
a cool experience. I showed this on a former show. Kevin,
Well, that's very yes. Oh, Kevin Garnett,
Kevin Garnett rookie card.
Flair. It's a Flair card, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now this is something that's like long-term investment, right? I spent about $50 for this card back in early 2000. It was like 99, 2000. And this card now is worth maybe like $950.
Woo!
This is the definition, people, of long-term investment.
Mm.
Modest investment up front and a great future Hall of Fame player. Garnett is from Chicago, originally from South Carolina, I think.
Yes,
but went to high school in Chicago. I saw him mature as a player at Farragut High School, and I just knew this guy's going to be special. Barring any injuries or anything like that, let me just say. Because anybody can get hurt, career could be over. But I had a strong feeling he was going to be good.
He was also just like Kobe, straight out of high school, correct? To the NBA?
High school, very successful straight out of high school. Very athletic, 6'10", 6'11" guy. Just built differently. This right here is a Luka Doncic second-year card Prism.
2019?
Yeah. Now, this is a card this is the reality of the hobby, right? Pay a little bit over like $300 for this card. This card now is probably worth $115.
Woo!
So you ask yourself, did you lose on this card? Yeah, you have lost now. But what's going to happen on this card in the future? None of us know. Right? So I take the explosion of a card. I also take still a great player, probably a future Hall of Famer. I went through a selection process on picking that card to actually buy. Then I talked about this Aaron Donald card.
Well, Aaron Donald for the LA
the
Rams. That's a rookie card?
Yeah, it's a rookie card out of 5.
What year is that?
I looked at Aaron Donald, how he was playing the game. I started tracking him his junior year at Pittsburgh. Just looking at how he played the game. I was watching ESPN.
He's a Panther.
Yeah, he's a guy what we will call in the game with a motor, right? He never stops. You never see Aaron Donald tired. You never see him asking somebody to come out the game. You never see that. He is in consistent shape. And then I had the opportunity to meet him in person and get his autograph. And he's an in shape big man.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times in the world of football, you don't see that. But Aaron Donald's in great shape.
He's got to. He's very fast. He's very so fast.
This is a Luka Doncic Gold Wave.
Woo, that's beautiful. What year is that?
PSA 9. This is 2019 PSA 9.
I like that.
And this has a very, very low pop to it. And it was greatly underpriced on eBay.
It was?
So sometimes you come across some wins like this when you're just out there browsing around, just looking. This is a Tom Brady third year SP Authentic.
Ooh, third year SP Authentic. Yep. So what is that, 2002?
2002.
Oh, wow.
I would advise everybody to go with like the Jordan rule. If you can pick up a Tom Brady card and it's in your wheelhouse, you probably should pick that up.
Oh, yeah. They're not going to go down. He's already well established.
And if they do go down, I think there's going to be a minimal dip on the card compared to some other cards that may be out there.
Yeah, because Jordans don't really dip at all, do they? Jordans don't dip.
No. You want any piece of Jordan card you can probably get your hands on. And that started really a little bit before he retired. I mean, you just knew his cards with the value, the prices they were going at the time. It's a good investment. This is a Kobe Bryant 1997 Upper Deck High Dimensions card. I got it at a card show. Remember when I first met you?
Oh, it was? Is that second year, correct?
This is his second year, and this is number 1423 out of 2000. It's a cool card.
Ooh, that's neat.
Yeah.
I like that. So you find all your cards already graded, right?
Some, not all. But if that card is not graded, then I'm going to scrutinize that card. Probably have somebody take it out of the top loader. I'm looking at all edges, corners, surface. I'm looking for anything and everything.
And you send your cards out to get graded?
I've sent a few out. I plan to send more this year.
Oh, you do?
I have a lot of cards in storage that eventually need to get graded.
And where do you usually send your cards to? To which companies?
PSA or BGS.
You do?
Mm-hmm. But if I'm at a show and I see a very nice card and it's SGC, I think SGC is a great grading service.
It's been picking up a lot. They have. Mm-hmm. What else you have?
Then I go new school a little bit, right? This is a 2020 LaMelo Ball.
Okay.
Fast break prism. PSA 9. Another card that has a pretty low pop, a lot of room to grow, and not as expensive as some of the other variations of this card.
Okay.
But still a cool card.
Love it.
And this is like a win, right? I went to a show here recently. This is ungraded.
Another Tom Brady. Crown Royal, right?
Yep. And it's Crown Royal. It's $245 out of $299.
What year is that?
This is a 2013. Reasonably priced card.
You'll clean that up yourself and send it out for grading?
Yep.
Oh, neat.
This is a Willie Mays card. A little bit of vintage for all those out there that love vintage.
Ooh,
I don't
vintage.
stay in one particular bucket. I don't stay in modern cars. I go all over. This is a 1956 Topps. It's a PSA 1.5.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's a great looking card.
That style is very iconic. That card is.
I would say Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and Jim Brown are the people that got me excited about collecting.
Did you ever meet? You met Jim Brown, right?
What's that?
You met Jim Brown too, right?
I've met all three.
Oh,
I've met
all three.
Jim
Wow.
Brown, Willie Mays, and Willie Sargent.
Wow.
I mean, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and Jim Brown.
Oh, you met Hank Aaron too. Wow.
Yep. It's good to talk to these players, like have a conversation with someone like Gale Sayers back in the day. It's a great conversation to have. I remember this. I'll tell you this story. Walter Payton, this is close to his retirement, sold signed autographs for free in downtown Chicago. One free autograph to each person. So my mom, dad, and I all got in line and got something autographed. And I'll see if I can. Let me see if I can pull up something here for you, Merle.
Okay,
that's kind of cool.
Want me to see it?
Let's see here. I think you'll enjoy this.
Okay, it's an autograph.
Yeah, it's an autographed item. It's a team signed poster.
Okay, team size poster
of the 85 Bears.
Of 85 Bears. That was the Chicago Shuffle, whatever it was.
That's right.
What was it called?
The Super Bowl Shuffle.
The Super Bowl Shuffle with the fridge and McMahon and everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, McMahon was my favorite.
Peyton.
Oh, here. This is me. Hopefully you can see this. This is me with Singletary.
Yeah, it's a little pixelated, but I can see it.
Signed by the whole team. And that day that I went to see Walter Payton was the first person to sign this.
Oh, wow. Do you still have that?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. That is pretty cool.
Very cool, man.
Where do you have it? Where do you have that picture?
Oh, it's way away in storage, man.
Oh, it is? Okay. You've got a lot of collectibles.
Yeah, Merle, I've collected for a long time. Many years, trying to meet a lot of people, having conversations. In that picture there, I met Singletary. At another show here in LA, I met Willie Galt to have him sign it.
Oh, man.
Cool, man. It's cool.
Willie Galt, he went to the University of Tennessee.
Yeah. Track star, football star.
Oh, yeah.
In the Olympics.
That's where I went to undergrad. I went to University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
Yes, sir. This is an ungraded Steph Curry card with a real piece of jersey that he wore in a game.
All right. Game
and
gear.
It's numbered out of 99.
What is that? National Treasures?
Yep. National Treasures.
What year?
This is see here. 2017.
Mm. You're the
Then
eclectic collector.
yeah, I get around, man. You know, it doesn't stop. This is a 2007 Panini Cornerstones. Jason Tatum.
Cornerstones. Ooh, Jason Tatum.
I got this
mean-
from my guy Wes King.
Oh yes, of the LA Proper Show guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. This is a Pop 1 card.
That's nice. Yeah, Tatum's having it's been playing very well too. I just wish the Celtics play a little better, but he's been playing great.
I think that franchise is going to have to do something at some point to really get a team. They have they have Brown and Tatum, but what does everybody else really?
Yeah, they've been rotating a lot of players trying to find that chemistry. That's one of my favorite teams.
It's one of my favorite as well, to see how they're going to grow and mature with one another. This is a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 1986 Fleer full autograph.
Ooh, and it's autographed too?
Yeah, it says Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on it. You know, he usually signs Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that.
Yeah.
So explain that to the viewers about Kareem.
So when you get into autographs, right, certain people sign their name a certain way.
Okay.
And it's usually that same way all the time. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has historically signed Abdul-Jabbar. He does not sign Kareem. So he was at a recent show where he signed several things as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which makes that more rare than a lot of things you'll see.
No, very interesting. Yeah, I didn't even know that. I went back to look at some of my autographed, pull from pack Jabbar cards, and they all say Abdul-Jabbar. They don't say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So I did not even know. I didn't pay attention.
And there are a lot of players that sign things. There are a lot of players that sign things a particular way. Usually, they do.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of writing to do.
Yeah, throughout life. Yeah, it's a lot of writing, right? Yeah. And throughout life, they may change something or do something differently than they've done in the past. And that may make the item more valuable to a real collector of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar memorabilia.
Yeah, I think like in a few years into your career, they just sign like the first letter and it's just a big scratchy line that goes across the card.
And I always joke like Oscar Robertson, right? He signs his name Oscar Robertson, but then he also signs his nickname only, like Big O.
Big O?
Big
That's
O.
it?
That's it. So let's say you have a Big O basketball, but both variations of his name, I think, have the same value to them. But it's interesting. Like if Michael Jordan just signed Air on a ball. It's interesting.
As long as you get it authenticated, right?
Yes, you're good to go.
Now, do you have a Jordan autograph?
I do not.
Oh,
do not. When I was going to make a decision to get one, the price is just, at the beginning of the pandemic, Jordan prices on Upper Deck doubled.
Oh, man.
Doubled. And LeBron prices are very high. Very high.
So who do you think, which player do you have like is probably the most of the autographs you have?
There are quite a few. Let me think here. I think in 2001, I went to an autograph show and got a Willie Mays autograph. But then I asked him to sign a jersey with 15 inscriptions on it.
Oh, man.
And he signed that jersey.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
And what does it say?
Let me see if I can find that picture.
Okay.
He put a lot of stats from his career on it. And then at the time...
Oh, he did? Oh, that's right.
But it has a story to it, right? At the time, Willie Mays was starting to lose his vision.
Oh.
So some things I had on the paper for him to sign, he couldn't see. So it was like two inscriptions where he signed what he thought it said. It just when I think about it, it just adds to the story of some things,
I love it.
It's different.
So if anybody has any questions, you feel free to put them in the chat.
Let me show you this. This is the Willie Mays.
I see the Giants, Willie Mays.
Yeah, see if I can zoom in.
I don't think you can be able to see the writing, but I'll try to see it. Oh, there you go. Oh, wow. It is a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. On the whole side of the shirt and then over the shoulder.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's probably one of my favorite things, man.
I can
I walked
imagine.
into that show. I walked into that show not knowing if he was going to do that at all,
And he did it.
and he did it.
Yeah. I guess, like my father says, you ask, the worst they can say is no, right?
Right. Now, with
So,
Willie Mays, Willie Mays is so strong-willed, right? He's a strong-willed man. When I asked him, he said no.
really?
I'm not. Yeah, he told me I'm not going to do that. And then I started having a conversation with him. I just talked to him about our family has been a huge fan of Willie Mays. And when he came out as a rookie, my father was 7 years old. And he remembers Willie Mays from 7 to when Willie stopped playing. I started talking to him about that. And I think he thought about that.
No, that's sweet. That's very sweet. So what's the most oddest autograph you have of someone? What's the weirdest? Yes. Do you have any oddball autographs?
I have to think on that. Maybe this King Golden might be.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
I have to think on that one.
Probably is.
Yeah, I have to think on that one. Most of it has always been like sports related or entertainment related or something like that. Let's
see here. Shiny Cardboard Addict. He asked, what is your favorite card? The one that you won't sell. Well, after you don't sell any of your cards.
Yeah, I don't sell a lot. Shiny
but
Cardboard.
I guess this is a Sophie's choice here. What is your favorite card?
My favorite card. I have a 1992 Jordan card. That's the the BGS 10 out of 3. It's a 3 pop. It's probably my favorite. It's my most rarest Jordan card, and I haven't had a chance to buy a lot of Jordan cards over the years.
Okay.
When Jordan was going through his career, is when I was trying to
in the late 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah, that's when I was trying to make moves and what I was doing, and it kind of took me away at the hobby at some key times that Jordan was moving along in his career. So I would like to have more Jordan. This is a Topps archive card, 92 Topps archive,
92.
BGS 10 Pop 3. That's probably one of my favorite cards. You don't see a lot of them. And this was the gold one that has the gold patch in the corner.
Oh yeah, I know that very well.
Yes. A lot of those. There's only BGS 10 I've ever seen. Well, I guess it's because it's a Pop 3.
Yeah, I had a couple. They don't grade that well. And I also had some Shaqs too from that year.
Yeah, I got the Shaq Topps Archives 92 where he's like going up and down with the black background that's hard to grade. I got that in the PSA 10. That's one of my favorite cards because it's a Shaq rookie card and it's a reasonably low pop card. Yeah,
that's all during the junk wax era.
Yep.
I remember that very well. I was selling a lot of cards back in college during that time at University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and then in North Carolina, in Winston-Salem.
It was still a cool time to collect, though. You know?
It was.
When you were a kid and you pulled a Barry Bonds Topps card with the wood grain border, you didn't really care about what the population was on that card. There was no talk of that. You were just excited to have a Barry Bonds card. So it was a cool time as a kid to collect.
And it just was so oversaturated of cards, like different brands, different so much stuff. I mean, do you think that will happen again during this era?
I don't think so. I think we all have more information at our fingertips now, right? Like some of these cards I just went through, I told you the population on them. I told you the print run on them. And we're savvy as collectors, from young to, I mean, I say young, not in age, but in collecting, to someone that's a seasoned collector who's been collecting for probably over 50 years. We have more information now than we ever have. So I don't think the hobby, the collectors that are out there will allow that. I don't think that would even happen. If you're a company creating cars and putting them out there, and you know that your consumer base is very intelligent on what information they want to see, I think you're going to keep making cars that way.
I love it.
Hopefully over time, we don't get too oversaturated with variations of cars and things like that.
There's a lot of variations now, like the whole rainbow.
That I hope get adjusted over time. But even, I always say this, with those variations, right? it still allows someone who may want a reasonably priced Luca card to still be able to get that card. And those are the benefits of having those kind of variations out there. If you are an individual looking to take those variations and maybe flip them into something, that time may have changed for you. But I just always think about, how did I enter the hobby, right? I entered the hobby going into a retail store. Because way back in the day, it was very difficult to find a hobby shop. They really didn't exist. And I heard Flippin' Steve say something the other day that's very true. And I'm glad that he said it. When basketball, when the Jordan 86 Fleer was out, what did you find them at? They weren't sold in a lot of places. You could go and find Topps football that you wanted to collect before you could find a Jordan rookie card in 86 Fleer. So
I remember I found some packs at Circle K once. And I just threw those cards like at the bottom of my car. I really regret it.
Yeah, how we get cards now has completely changed. I used to get 86 Jerry Rice rookie cards from a 7-Eleven.
Yep.
Back in the day.
With Garbage Pail Kids and everything.
Yep, everything's sitting right by them on the counter. Yep.
I'll get my slushie and then get my some food and the chips and go to school and grab a couple of packs of cards.
And I used to help. I used to go with my parents to pick my brother up from school, so I'd get some packs, get in the back seat, and open them. That was fun, man. That was a blast.
It was.
Yeah.
Now you collect, like you said, you collect comic books too. Did you bring any comic books to show?
Oh, just this Moon Knight.
Look at that beautiful thing.
This is Avengers 733, and it gets into the Moon Knight story that goes into the TV series that's coming out.
What explain, FD?
So there's a TV series coming out on Disney Plus with Moon Knight. There was a trailer release during a recent NFL football playoff game.
Right.
I think it's going to be a phenomenal series.
With Oscar Isaac as the lead,
right.
Correct?
That's right. This is going to be phenomenal. It's going to get into the story of who Moon Knight is. He is a character that, he wears a shroud over his face. So you don't really see him. But as a child, reading Avengers and getting into his story, I've been waiting for something to come talking about Moon Knight. So this is going to be very, very... And I love the way they do it, right? The trailer speaks to his first appearance in a comic, fighting the werewolf. And it's going to take you forward from there and tell you his origin. It's going to be very exciting stuff.
Oh, wow. And this is a character that most of the mainstream people don't know who he is, correct?
Yep.
So they're taking a big risk. Hopefully this will be a very good series for Disney.
But just think about it, bro. If this works, think about all the characters that are not Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, that are great characters that are out there. Because the Marvel Universe wrote really almost for adults, but they put it in comics. And that was a genius of Stan Lee. He thought way ahead of time on... DC was making comics for children.
Okay.
Right? Marvel started making comics with a storyline for adults, but using cartoon characters with those storylines. And that's where the genius comes in that. Because now we have movies based upon storylines that almost all of us can relate to. And I think that's the difference between success of a Marvel movie and the success of a DC movie. We can relate a lot to Marvel characters because each of them has a dilemma that they're trying to overcome. And all of us in our lives have something that we say we want to get better at. And we can find a character at different age groups. Think about how young Peter Parker was when he first became Spider-Man compared to how old some other characters are. And then you have even Thor has weaknesses that you can relate to, where it may be harder to find a weakness besides kryptonite that Superman has.
Right.
So those are the things that really make Marvel so great.
Yeah, a little more three-dimensional characters.
We were here in LA. We bumped into Stan Lee, and he was very humble, just talking. Just a very humble person. You would never know who he was.
Where'd you run into Stan Lee?
One time, G and I, this is a couple of years ago, right?
Okay.
We walk into Frankensons here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I turn around to talk to G, and I'm walking, backpedaling, and bump right into the table that Stan Lee is sitting at signing autographs. And I turn around, and I was like, "Oh, Mr. Lee, I'm sorry for bumping into your table." You know, that voice that we all love. He tells me, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I'm probably sitting in the wrong place." That's what he tells us. Very cool guy. Very cool guy.
Did you get an autograph from him?
I did not that day.
Oh
But
my
I do have
goodness,
some
that's
stuff
neat.
that's I do have some stuff that's autographed by him.
Oh wow, okay, great. And what did you see the new Spider-Man movie? Have you seen it
Oh
yet?
yeah, I saw it, yeah.
Did you went to the theater to see it,
Oh yeah.
or did you
Yeah.
see it? Okay.
Did you see it? I know you
Oh,
saw it.
of course, I saw it opening night.
Oh yeah,
I'm
great movie.
I'm a film nerd, so I love going to see the movies like the opening night, even
Oh,
during COVID,
that's what I usually do too. Thursday,
because
Friday.
I love seeing the reactions on people's faces.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like why I love doing card shows too, because I love seeing expressions on people's faces when they come to my display case and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you got some of the coolest, most uniqueness things ever in the world."
Yeah.
I mean, that the expression on people's faces is more priceless, than the card itself.
True.
And I just
That's
enjoy that, and then we have something to talk about too.
But if anybody out there has not seen the Spider-Man movie, and you like Marvel movies or you have an interest, it's a great movie.
It was amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait for Doctor Strange. Are you ready for it?
Yeah. Can't wait for it. I want them to get a Fantastic Four movie right.
Now, when's it going to happen?
I don't know.
Soon, apparently.
I've heard they've been talking about making one, but the last one, I'm telling you, Mara, I was excited for that for a year.
Oh yeah, me too.
Out. And then 15 minutes into the movie, I was like, "What? What?
Yeah.
What is this?" I mean, you got the right cast together. You got everything, but the storyline is just weak.
Yeah, it was very flat. Very
and
flat.
If they can get Fantastic Four together, then they can loop that in the Guardians of the Galaxy. It could be a great experience.
And Silver Surfer coming in.
Oh yeah.
Again, yeah. And there's all kinds of possibilities. I mean, I think even they're going to have Blade coming out too. When's Blade come out? This year or next?
I think it's next year. The actor that's going to be in Blade is phenomenal.
Maharaja Ali, correct?
Yes. It's going to be a great experience. I can't wait for that. This Morpheus, I can't wait for that.
Oh yes. Now, do you think it's going to be tied in with the MCU, or is that just going to be just the Sony universe?
I think they're going to try to tie that in.
Oh, you think so?
I will hope so, because that opens so many doors to so many future stories that we don't have now. I'm just hoping too that they also get this Black Panther, the next installment of the Black Panther, correct as well.
Now, what's going to happen with it now that
I do not know, because the lead actress that was supposed to play the leading role, I don't think she's involved anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think she is.
Was it because of the COVID issue?
I think so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Were they going to turn her into the Black Panther?
That's some of the things I was reading. They were going to turn that over to her, because in the comic line, that's what happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they turned that over to her. I mean, she was the mastermind behind everything. Also, the master woman.
Oh, wow. I love it. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Do they recast it? What?
Yeah. I bet people out there right now are like, man, I never thought MD was in. Yeah, I get into this stuff.
Oh, yes, you do. You love the storylines. I'm going to have to ask you after I see some of the movies and like, oh, what was that? What was that Easter egg, FD? So
you know what's
explain
funny?
to me.
In this house, I'll watch a movie, and there are other people who really read the book, right? And I'll watch a movie and talk about the movie. They'll say, oh, no, that's not what happened in the book. That's how I am with a lot of comic books. I remember the storyline, and I'll watch a movie and be like, oh yeah, they changed that for Hollywood. I guess they changed that.
Oh, well, of course, yeah, you got to write a little more for the script, Hollywood script.
Yep.
And what did you see any of the Star Wars stuff? Have you watched Boba Fett?
Oh yeah, I watched Boba Fett. Each episode.
What do you think about it?
I'm highly disappointed in Boba Fett.
Okay, you sound like a lot of my friends.
Ooh, that's why when we watched the first 2 episodes, I was just like, what is going on right now? What is this? This is not. So you make Empire Strikes Back. I've said this several times inside the house. You make this. You make Empire Strikes Back. Boba Fett's Vader's right-hand person. He's taking care of a lot of stuff. He just turns to Boba Fett and tells him, "This is what I want." And you see Boba Fett say nothing. Okay, and then go handle it. You see him again in Return of the Jedi, attempting to do exactly the orders that he was given. We all love Boba Fett as a child. He's very vulnerable in this series. He's very almost like pedestrian. You wouldn't even think he was Boba Fett by some of the stuff that's going on in the storyline. So that's the thing that shocks me. And that's the thing that makes me look forward more and more to what Moon Knight is going to bring.
I hope it. I think they have a lot of high hopes for it, since that's going to be the first series coming out for 2022.
Yeah,
and they
what do you think?
they were promoting it on the the game and everything, so that takes a lot of money.
Merle, let me know, what do you think of Boba Fett?
It's okay. The story. My girlfriend started watching it with me, and about third episode in, or maybe not even two episodes in, she's like, "This is a little too nerdy for me. I don't enjoy it like I do The Mandalorian," because she loved Baby Yoda, of course.
Yeah.
But she was like, "I'm not really digging this. You can watch this by yourself." So I watched it. It's kind of definitely slower paced than Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But I found that kind of interesting, because I would watch it, late at night, like 1 a.m, 12 at night. But man, that last episode, I don't want to reveal anything. You saw it this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a little like, that kind of threw me for a curveball.
Yeah.
It was kind of I don't know what they're connecting it with. And then there was a scene in there that just went on like way, way too long with, Amy Sedaris.
Yes. Now, what I will do, I'll finish the season.
Oh, definitely. I definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't, I when I commit to a series, I'm going to finish the darn series, which takes me, I need to finish Succession. I'm only like halfway in season 2 of Successions. I need to watch it. Do you watch it?
No, I haven't watched that. What is that about?
It's the one that's been winning all the awards.
Oh, I've heard it. Yes, I've heard it.
With what's his name, Cox, and then Macaulay Culkin's brother and everything.
Yep. Yeah,
But
I've heard it. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of mean people and stuff. So it made me feel a little neurotic, because everybody on it's pretty mean. You hate everybody, but everybody says it's really good. So I tried watching it. I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows. That's freaking hilarious. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I have not. What is that on?
Oh my goodness. On FX, but you can watch it on Hulu. I don't know what you use. And oh my gosh, it's the funniest thing in the world. You have to watch it. It's hilarious. But you don't watch it with children. It's a little racy.
Yeah.
It's a little racy comedy.
Yeah, sometimes we do a little prior research to find out what something rated, and then we go off of that.
This is when the kids go to bed. You got to watch. Okay. But it's really good. And then I watched my guilty pleasure with my girlfriend. We watched 90 Day Fiance.
Oh,
if you watch it or not.
Okay.
That's a hoot. And then we love all the Marvel stuff. She loves all the Marvel stuff, so she'll watch all of it with me. We loved Loki. We loved WandaVision.
Loki was cool.
Yeah, we loved it a lot.
I got into it after about the 4th episode.
Yeah, because you're like, where's this going?
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the comic.
Yeah, and then it just takes you for a weird, like, you don't know what to expect next kind of thing. But Loki was the same thing. You don't know what to expect. It was pretty trippy. And I kind of like that. And that's why I like Doctor Strange, because it's pretty trippy. I like those worlds.
Yeah.
You?
Doctor Strange is a great character. Great character.
Yeah, I heard they did a lot of reshoots too.
If they're working on Doctor Strange, then they have to, I would think, work on Fantastic Four to get that storyline right.
There's I'm going on all over the chat boards and everything, and I'm reading all kinds of crazy rumors. I mean, there's a lot of rumors think the X-Men are going to show up, or Wolverine's going to show up, or Professor X, or all of them. Some people think that Hugh Jackman's going to make a cameo.
Well, I heard
all kinds of rumors.
Hugh Jackman was coming back as Wolverine.
Yeah,
and maybe this is linking into the cameo that you're talking about.
Yeah, so who knows? And this is going to introduce the X-Men or the Fantastic Four. They're even thinking, because they were like, why did they go and do reshoots? And they also did reshoots for Morbius too. And the rumor is because they believe that the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is going to show up in this Morbius.
Okay.
But that's just rumor,
Yeah.
But they think because of the success of Spider-Man that they want to have more cameos now in their movie and surprises.
Well, they need to do that, because in the comics, that's what happened all the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it did?
You read Spider-Man, you don't know who's about to pop in that thing, and the character is not on the cover. So Stan Lee and them used to surprise you.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah, with people just popping in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all the time. That's why when I first started watching these movies, I would be like, okay. Then they would show you something at the end, after the credits, you may see where they're taking the story. But we need more of that.
Hmm.
Like one of my favorite Marvel movies is X-Men: Days of Future Past, because that was written almost like a X-Men comic series or a graphic novel, where they had old and new X-Men, doing things and relating to each other. And if you haven't seen it, with Wolverine going back in time, that just changes a whole bunch. That added to the depth of the story. It's one of my favorite X-Men movies. One of my favorite Marvel movies.
It is, really.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think this Spider-Man has to be definitely one of my favorites. That was
it's
so freaking good. And it
yes.
was packed, and we saw it in 4DX. Have you ever seen a movie in 4DX?
Yes, I have, but nothing on that level.
Huh?
Nothing on that level, but I have seen a movie.
Oh, you have? You gone to a 4DX movie?
Oh yeah.
Because they have a new theater over in North Hollywood too. Where do you live? What part of town?
Oh, we live in the valley.
You do. So yeah, they just opened up the theater there in North Hollywood with a 4DX theater. Because I live in Mid-Wilshire, so we were going over to LA Live to catch the 4DX there.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
everything was sold out on the first night, and I bought the tickets like 2 weeks in advance. So the only tickets I could find in 4DX was in North Hollywood, so we went over there.
How far is 4DX? I mean, LA Live away from you?
Oh, probably like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I live in Mid-Wilshire now. Before, when you first met me, I'd already moved here. Sorry, yeah, I'd already moved here. I moved in Mid-Wilshire last March.
Very cool.
We were living in West Hollywood.
Okay.
And during lockdown, we were both working from home, and we're like, man, we need a yard, a patio. We need some outdoor space. Mm-hmm. We need a bigger place. And we found this great place, and it's a great neighborhood. I live right next.
It's a great neighborhood.
Yeah, it's great. Mm-hmm. Roscoe's Chicken is near me, man. You ever been to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles?
Yeah, I've been to Roscoe's Chicken.
Yeah, it's really good. I can't eat it all the time anymore, though. I can't eat the fried food.
It's a good place. Yeah, I try to stay away from fries as much as possible. And Merle, I don't eat meat.
Yeah, no. Oh my God, I forgot to bring that up. I heard rumor was that you were a vegan. Is that correct?
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian. Okay, so you'll eat fish.
I'll eat fish and I'll eat eggs.
And how long have you been doing this?
Since 2012.
Wow, almost 10 years exactly.
September of 2012.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mom, she's been that way for 20 years as well. Mm-hmm. She has a lot of discipline. I wish I could, but my damn girlfriend's a foodie. So we're always eating like at all the trendiest restaurants in LA. And I'll get there and I'll be so hungry, and we'll get our food, and she has to take photos of all the food.
Okay.
And then I can't eat till she posts them on Instagram.
Oh wow! She got you waiting like that, huh?
And then I have to pose for it. I have to get the candles all lit and compose the shot for her. She's directing me, and
that's all good. Man.
So yeah, she lets me put up. She lets me get all these shows, and I think she's going to come join me on Saturday. I'm hoping, but she's going to come with me to Houston next week.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
it's going to be great.
So it's a TriStar show.
Yeah,
I have a lot of autographs.
I went to that show.
Oh, you have been?
Oh, yeah. I went to that show maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
That's where I met Nolan Ryan down there, Ricky Henderson.
Oh, wow.
And a few more players down there. Dave Stewart was there with Oakland A's. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oakland A's. Oh, my goodness. I totally remember him. That was one of my favorite teams as a kid.
Oh, I love the 88.
With Reggie and all them. I'm talking about Reggie Jackson back in the 70s.
Oh, you're taking it back. Yeah. With Rolling Fingers and the crew.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Oh, my gosh. And the LA Dodgers, believe it or not. I liked a lot of the West Coast teams growing up in Tennessee because I grew up when I was a little boy in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay.
And then I moved to Jacksonville, Florida, and then Winston-Salem, North Carolina when I was 12. And then went back to school at Tennessee. And then went back to school in North Carolina, then moved to LA. So I've been in LA now for 25 years this July. How about you? Man. How long you living in
I've been on and off. I moved around different places, but on and off here about 13, 14 years.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Awesome. Well, FD, I don't want to hold you up too much. We've already been on for an hour and a half. Is there any closing thing you want to say?
I would just like to say, Roll with FD. Check the channel out on YouTube. We got a new episode that's probably gonna come out tomorrow for the Newport show that went on last week.
Okay.
Family focused show. I get into the strategy behind why I'm buying, as well as what I'm buying, and I like to have conversations with people. So you will see that, and I try to really gear the show towards everything that we've talked about today, as far as community, talking to your fellow collectors, learning things, being open-minded, and learning about what is going on, which is why I really come into shows, not pre-planning what I'm planning to buy. I want to see kind of what the show kind of brings. And then I love to help support shows, post things on Instagram of different shows that's coming up, have a good relationship with those who are conducting and holding shows. I really enjoy it. I've always have. I enjoy meeting people like Merle and building friendships and relationships and getting to know people. Because to me, that's what this is all about.
Well, FD, it's been a very pleasure evening with you. Thank you so much for taking your time to be on my show, and I look forward to seeing you Saturday. So, folks, if y'all are in the LA area, come check out me and FD. I'll be setting up at the show, and FD will be rolling around the floor, won't you, FD?
I'm gonna do a little tweak on this one, though, Merle.
Okay.
I'm gonna shock you on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh my goodness!
A little something different.
Oh, I can't wait to see what he's got in store for me, man. So come see us. Cardstock. I know it's on the ticker. It's the Cardstock Trading Show. It's called, right? There it is. So you can check out all the information there. We'll see you guys Saturday. FD, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you Saturday, brother.
Thank you for the opportunity, brother.
Bye, everyone.